Here's David Sirota tweets out, things I've learned on Twitter, Democratic Party officials, Clinton and her aides bear zero responsibility for losing the election. Here's a big bag of pus. Kurt Eichenwald, you know, this guy is the worst. He said, in Newsweek, the deluded say Sanders would have coasted into the White House. They never saw the GOP Oppo research. I did. I said, pretty clear that the guy who was wrongest about everything is now somehow magically right about this. Holy shit, these people cling to stupidity. Yeah, 218 retweets, not too bad. Malcolm, remember, in America, in life, it's not important to be right or wrong. It's important to be retweeted. Here's my friend Kurt Eichenwald tweeted out, not sure who is in more denial, Trump fans who say no hate crimes are happening or non-voters protest votes who say they didn't put him in the office. And I love what Malcolm Fleischner says. He says, I'm going to go off the board and have to pick door number 3. Behind door number 3, you'll find a mirror.
Ooh, nice. That is pretty good.
That's Malcolm.
That's pretty good.
Here's another maniac. Republicans destroyed unions and blocked every jobs bill put forth by the President of the United States. Don't you dare blame Dems for white working class woes. I tweeted out, by the way, look how many retweets that guy tweeted got. It got 2,329 retweets. So that's just that. And that guy doesn't have a big following. He had like 14,000 people following him on Twitter. What I'm talking about is that a lot of morons like that. What I tweeted out in response to him was, Bill Clinton and the Dems sold out unions in the 90s with NAFTA. Obama is still pushing TPP. Your on-purpose ignorance is what lost the election. By the way, I did pretty good. Got 72 retweets real quick before I took the screenshot. He blocked me immediately, that guy. Stick your head in the sand. Stick your head in the sand. Don't listen to what really happened. Be as dumb as right-wingers. Science doesn't. There is no such thing as climate change. And the earth is 6,000 years old. That's what this is. That's what these Hillary supporters are. That's what Rachel Maddow's doing. That's what Kurt Eichenwald's doing. Let's see who else is doing this. Peter Dow. Peter Dow wrote, it's your job to vote, not mine to convince you. Such a self-centered argument. Hillary didn't make nicey nice with me, so I let Trump win. You sure want me to bring more attention to your argument that my advocacy for Hillary is an excuse for people to vote Trump? Really? And Katie Halper tweets out, Peter Dow lost the last 3 elections he worked on. After much soul searching, he realized it's Bernie Bro's fault. That's what this is. It's like the earth is 6,000 years old. There's no such thing as evolution, and climate change is a hoax. That's what this is. So Hillary Clinton proved, I did not realize this, but Hillary Clinton proved to me that half the left is willfully just as ignorant as the right. Willfully. Will willfully stick their head in the sand and be just as dumb as the right. Willfully. That's what Peter Dow is doing. That's what Joan Walsh does. That's what Rachel Maddow's doing. That's what Chris Hayes is doing. That's what Kurt Eichenwald. That's what Paul Krugman is doing. They're showing that when money's involved and they can advance, they'll be just as ignorant on purpose as the right wing. Just as ignorant. Here, he also tweeted this. This guy's one of the dumbest guys in the world. So Bernie's movement lost to Hillary, but somehow would have defeated Trump. Could someone please explain how that logic works? Yeah, I think anybody could explain it to you. Do you have a 4th grader in your house? You're a 4th grader because here's how this guy, because the 20 million Democratic primary voters do not equal the 121 million general election vote, because other people get to vote in the general besides the primary. Like whenever there was an open primary, Bernie crushed it, like in Michigan. When there's a closed primary, meaning you don't let other Americans vote, Hillary Clinton did well. But if you open it up to everybody, Bernie did well. That's why they didn't want open primaries. Peter Dow, either the dumbest guy in the world or a complete fucking liar. I think both.
Yeah, and you also wouldn't have people scared to vote for Bernie Sanders because they're worried that he couldn't win in a general because he'd be in the general. You wouldn't have that factor, too, because that was a big factor.
That was. I know people were saying shit like that. People who are on this show were saying that I agree with Bernie's positions, but I I think that Hillary's a stronger candidate, proving that they know fucking nothing about nothing. Imagine what we did. Imagine if after 8 years of Ronald Reagan, that the Republicans didn't nominate George Bush Sr., but after 8 years of Ronald Reagan, the Republicans then nominated Gerald Ford. Because that's pretty much what the Democrats just did. After 8 years of Barack Obama, someone everyone loved, they went and nominated someone everyone hated. That doesn't make any sense. That's what they did. Could you imagine them running fucking Gerald Ford in 1992? Anyway. Here's Chrissy Tiny Hands Hayes. He says, here's a fun game. Rerun the election, switching just one thing, the timing of the Access Hollywood tape and the Comey letter. So now he's saying in court, it was, again, something else. It wasn't Hillary. It wasn't neoliberalism. It wasn't predictable. It's all these other weird things. Like this is a regular election. You're running against fucking Hitler with a comb over. And here's what I said. Hey, here's a fun game. Count up all the free media MSNBC gave Trump and then try shutting the fuck up.
Well, Jimmy, I'd like to think that, going on the one thing you said, I'd like to think that this isn't representative of half of the left, that this is establishment media that likes the status quo as well. So they're holding on to a system that deep down they know is completely broken and left progressives behind. I'd like to think that in the hoi polloi, in the general populace, even those that, were more adamant in supporting Clinton to try to avoid Trump, that they realize it's time for a new direction. And, at least I certainly hope so.
I think that the Hillary people are going to eventually let go.
I think a lot did.
But certainly the people, like you said, in the media aren't letting go.
Right.
They got their heads up their ass. Here's this guy named Matt McDermott. He says, forgive my belief in structure, but if Sanders wants a role in shaping the Democratic Party moving forward, maybe he should actually be a Democrat. They're still doing that shit. That's from November 14th. That's not like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. He's still doing that shit. Still. After you guys just lost to Trump, you would think maybe you would shut the fuck up for a while. So here's what somebody knows. People like you lost 1,000 state legislature seats since 2008. Twiddle your fucking lanyard in your hands for a while.
And Bernie Sanders is a Democrat. He's a New Deal Democrat.
Yes!
And last time we had one of those in the White House, it went really well.
They had to invent term limits. That's how they kept in. So I love this. This is a big reason why but Clinton Super PAC spent $700,000 more for online trolls than the whole of the DNC spent on Latino voter outreach. There was like 20, I don't know what the final number was that's just disputed, but there was a high 20s of Hispanics who voted for Trump. You heard that, right?
Yeah.
It was like 28, 29% voted. I heard 30s, but then yesterday on the Young Turks, some people were saying it was only the high 20s. I've tried to check. It's up there. It's in the upper 20s. Hispanics voted for Trump. They spent $700,000 more to have, and you know what? That's the correct the record, David Brock, where people will go out and they would harass you if you said something negative about Hillary, and they would just use the dumbest arguments that didn't turn anybody to Hillary's side. All it did was piss people off. That's the word. They got in bed with David Brock. The Clintons are in bed with the scum of the earth. David Brock is the scum of the earth. He's as bad as Bannon. He's as bad of all those people that are around surrounding Trump. David Brock is just as bad as those people. He slandered Anita Hill. Those are the people that the Clintons are in bed with. Negroponte, Kissinger, David Brock. Complete deplorables. Anyway, so there you go. They don't get it. They don't get it. I don't think they'll ever get it, the news media. I don't think Rachel Maddow and the Chris Hayes. I think once you have around $40-50 million, I just think your brains just they slide down to your ass. Well, and what happens?
A lot of establishment media is on the Titanic. I mean,
yes.
The young people are turning against it. They're turning towards more independent sources. They're turning to YouTube. They're turning
to
elsewhere.
This show. The Young Turks had 4.4 million viewers on Election Day. You think people are still turning into here what fucking Rachel Maddow has to say when she wags their finger at a ghost, at Jill Stein voters, at a ghost? Yeah. By the way, the average age for MSNBC viewer, 63 years old.
compared to the 72 of Fox News.
Yeah.
They're young over at MSNBC. A lot of new, fresh blood, new ideas.
Yeah, so the revolution is here, and it's taking them off guard.